Hey everybody, this is Roger Marandino with GZ Lures, and we're at the Orange Beach Boat Show in Orange Beach, Alabama, and we have a great interview for you today. We have Deborah Hood from Marlin Magazine, and Deborah's going to talk a little bit about her past, but Deborah and I became friends as we both have interest in the Azores. She just wrote a great story about bad company that has been all over the world, but spent some time in Horta where our boat is, and it's just a fantastic place, and just somebody that has the sickness like myself, so and most of you. So Deborah, can you tell us a little bit about Marlin Magazine and your past, and then we'll go through the 3 questions that we normally ask. But she's bona fide sick marlin hunter, so.
I have been. I think it's in my DNA. My dad, I grew up fishing with my dad when I was just a little girl. In fact, he used to let me ride in the boat that he was trailering to the launch.
In the center console?
Yes, he would be. No, he was. I was in the boat that he was trailering behind his truck. So yeah. I have some of those dreams to this day. But anyway, I started with Marlin Magazine in 1984. I met Bill McClellan, who started the magazine here in nearby Pensacola. And so he was looking for someone out on the West Coast to be a West Coast editor and really put Marlin on the map out there, because they really hadn't had coverage of West Coast style fishing, and so I loved the job. It was the best job I could have ever imagined having, and to this day it's my favorite thing I've ever done. So I was with them for about 5 years, and then went on to Sportfishing. Then after that, Water Sportsman. So yeah, I've had a great life with it. Amazing experiences.
And now you're back with Marlin again for what, 4 years?
Yeah, I've been with them about 4 years now, writing again, which was my favorite part of the job. And yeah, life's good.
And you're still fishing and you're still traveling. I know you're going to Horta with Les in what, October?
October.
Yeah, I'm going to miss you, but you're going to get some great dates.
I know. I'm excited about that. I fell in love with the Azores. It was just a magical place in so many ways. Never seen the amount of bait in the water. Yeah. Whales, dolphin. I mean, it was just alive. The ocean was alive there. It was magnificent.
And the color of the water is...
It's hard to describe it, isn't it? It's hard to describe. It's just, I don't know, sapphire blue, royal blue. It changes blues every day during the day, but it's fabulous and amazing fishing.
Well, within our standard format, your favorite fish that you've ever caught. It doesn't have to be the biggest. Most people do say that, but
Yeah. Well, my favorite fish was a swordfish that I caught in Mazatlan, off of Mazatlan, Mexico. I'd gone down with my family before and had fished for swordfish, didn't catch any, and then the owner of the lodge called me up and he said, "You need to come down here. We've got squid like out the kazoo, and it's time for you to catch your swordfish," because it had been I'd been trying for a while, and this was West Coast fishing. This was looking in the binoculars for finning fish
on the surface.
On the surface. And then, you're trolling the whole time you're looking, but you're constantly, that's your target fish. And I took my oldest son, Marlin Hood, my oldest son, who's a boat captain today and a very successful one here in Orange Beach. And so we were down for 5 days, and we fished for 5 days, and we baited, we did everything, couldn't get a bite. And so we went back to the lodge, and he's like, Deb, you really need to stay just one more day. Just one more day, I got a feeling. So I called the airline, and he's like, how much is it gonna cost me to change my ticket for 2 days from now? Anyway, I got that arranged, and we went fishing the next day, and I saw the swordfish. We eased up to it. I cast a mackerel to it, live mackerel, and the swordfish turned on the bait, and I was hooked up. There was no hesitation.
Yeah.
The swordfish went right for it, swallowed it. I don't know what she did, but I was hooked up, and it was on a kind of an older,
like a 30 or something.
Yeah, it was like a 30-foot boat, and I went to I was going to sit down. There was a chair there. It looked a little decrepit. I went to sit down, and I put the handle in the rod holder there, anyway, it went straight through. There was no pin in the bottom. So I got it out, and it kept fighting it standing up. And anyway, got the fish in, and we released it. It was back when swordfish were sort of endangered, and but that was the best day ever.
It's nice to see that they're back.
They were, this was a long time ago. This was probably in 91, no, it was in 2001, I think. And but there were squid there. We got there. In fact, we brought squid with us, 18 inchers. And we got there and as soon as we got there, we went to the marina and then off of the boats that were like 5 or 6 feet long. So we just brought in the little ones for bait.
Now, what about, maybe the fish that got away? And I think you touched on it, but, everybody has this passion. What drives your passion? I know for me, it's as soon as you're done, you're tired, but you can't wait to go back again.
Right. Well, the one that got away, I was in Australia fishing the ribbon reefs there on El Zorro, and I'd been on that boat for about 3.5, 4 weeks. Met them in Ponape, Micronesia, and fished all the way down past New Guinea and into Australia. And so we were fishing. Charles Perry was the deckhand and running the fishing boat.
He just got the award.
Yeah. And Jim Edmiston was the owner of El Zorro, so we had the mothership there, and then the fishing boat was like a 36-foot Carolina boat. And so we were fishing the ribbon reefs, and it was very rough that day. You'd see other boats coming in the other direction on the ribbon, and they'd just disappear and then pop up again, you know. But anyway, I got this fish on, and we didn't get a real good look at it at first until it started jumping, and it just skyrocketed. And so I got the fish kind of calmed down a little bit, started getting line back, and getting the leader pretty close to the boat. Deckhand was getting ready to grab the leader, and all of a sudden the fish just went crazy. Just sort of, I was bringing it into the boat, it kind of lit up and took off directly 180 turn, ripped me out of the chair, and luckily somebody grabbed the bucket, the bucket that I was in, and pulled me back. So then it felt honestly like I was fighting a freight train that was going as fast as it could go. It was, that fish had either jumped into high gear or something was after
Black
it.
Marlin?
Black Marlin,
Black Marlin,
yeah. And you know, when it was jumping, they said it was probably 750.
Yeah.
And so I just kept fighting it, you know, for another 15, 20, 30 minutes. And then the line went slack. I was like, I pulled the hook. And I was so upset. I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was more than upset. So I started bringing it in, and what came in over the transom was like a chunk of marlin, about 20 pounds, with a hook in the middle of it. So it was tiger sharks that had just
crushed it.
eaten around everything except the hook in the fish. So that's the one that I remember most.
Well, what keeps you doing it? Because we've talked earlier about, you know, I mean, you've written for, you know, all the major publications that cover fishing, and you know, why? Now, I understand the Azores and the trips, but you know, I mean, what keeps you know?
But some of the best trips I ever had was on my dad's boat, when we would go out with the kids and the family, and you know, fish over, spend the night offshore, and you know, take turns at the radar, and those were the best times. And so I think my dad implanted that seed of that desire to fish, which he had actually inherited from his own mother, who didn't fish in the ocean. She would fish in any creek or pond or anything that she could find, but it started there. And I loved every minute that I was on the fish with, when I fished with my family, and my dad especially.
A lot of people say that. I mean, for me, I mean, my grandfather taught me in a stream in Pennsylvania. And that was my first fish, so I don't think it matters if it's offshore. You know, it's just,
I don't think so
it's a
either.
sickness. So.
I don't think so. But it just brings me joy. As I was telling you, I don't really make a lot of money writing that article, but the experiences I get, you can't put a price tag on. And as I've gotten older, I just think, you know, the more you can experience, the richer your life is. And I want as rich a life as I can have. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
Well, thank you so much, and again, thank you, because I mean that stuff really hits home, and I don't know how long I've been reading Marlin Magazine, but it's a long time. I don't want to say. It's been that long.
I'm very fortunate that I can do this again. It brings me a lot of joy. And
sport fisherman and saltwater sportsman.
Right, you read them all.
Yeah, you read, maybe I missed something. So, well, I wanted to say thank you, and I'm sorry I'm going to miss you in Horta, but maybe I'll just stay longer.
Or maybe I'll come earlier.
Well, thank you, everybody.